You know what most people get completely wrong about aging? They think it's inevitable, that once you hit 60, there's nothing you can do but watch your body slowly decline and accept that your best years are behind you. But that's absolutely not true. And I'm going to prove it to you today by sharing the only 5 habits that actually reverse aging after 60. Habits that are backed by science and that I've seen transform the lives of hundreds of my patients from coast to coast across America. These aren't expensive treatments or complicated protocols. These are simple daily habits that anyone can start today and that can literally turn back the clock on how your body looks, feels, and functions. My name is Dr. Rebecca Parker. I've treated patients for over 20 years, and now I dedicate my work to senior health. And let me tell you something that might surprise you. Aging is not just about the number of years you've been alive. It's about how well your cells are functioning and how effectively your body can repair itself. And the exciting news is that you have far more control over this process than you ever imagined. I've watched 70-year-olds become healthier and more energetic than they were at 60. I've seen 80-year-olds regain strength and vitality they thought was gone forever. And it all comes down to these 5 specific habits that work with your body's natural ability to heal and regenerate itself. Now, before we dive into these 5 powerful habits, I want you to understand something crucial. You're not alone if you've been feeling like your body is betraying you as you age. Thousands of seniors across America wake up every morning feeling stiff and tired. They look in the mirror and barely recognize themselves. They struggle with energy levels that used to come naturally, and they've been told by society and sometimes even by their doctors that this is just what happens when you get older. But here's what I'm promising you today. If you implement these 5 habits consistently, you will see measurable improvements in how you feel, how you look, and how your body functions. And I'm not talking about tiny changes. I'm talking about transformation that will make you feel like you've gained years of your life back. Let me explain what's really happening in your body right now and why these 5 habits are so powerful. You see, aging at the cellular level is driven by several key processes. Your cells lose their ability to repair damage efficiently. Inflammation increases throughout your body, creating what scientists call inflammaging. Your mitochondria, which are the power plants of your cells, become less effective at producing energy. Your telomeres, which are protective caps on your chromosomes, get shorter with each cell division, and your body's production of essential hormones and proteins decreases significantly. Now that might sound discouraging, but here's the incredible part. Every single one of these aging processes can be slowed down or even reversed through specific lifestyle habits. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. According to recent studies published in major medical journals, people who consistently practice certain longevity habits can have biological ages that are 10 to 15 years younger than their chronological age. That means a 70-year-old who follows these habits can have the cellular health and physical function of someone in their mid-50s. And I've seen this happen over and over again in my practice. The science is clear, and the results are real. But here's the thing. You have to actually do these habits consistently because your body doesn't care about what you intend to do or what you did last month. It responds to what you're doing right now today and what you'll do tomorrow and the day after that. If this resonates with you, if you're ready to take control of your aging process instead of being a passive victim of it, hit that like button because this information could literally add healthy years to your life. Now let's talk about the consequences of not taking action because I want you to understand what's at stake here. Every day that passes without these habits, your cells are aging faster than they need to. Inflammation is building up in your body, setting the stage for chronic diseases. Your muscles are losing strength and mass at a rate of about 3 to 8% per decade after 30, which accelerates even more after 60. Your bones are becoming more brittle, increasing your risk of fractures that could end your independence. And your brain is losing cognitive function that you'll never get back. This is not meant to scare you. It's meant to wake you up to the urgency of starting these habits today, because the longer you wait, the harder it becomes to reverse the damage that's already been done. The first habit that reverses aging after 60 is something that might surprise you because it's not what most people think of when they think about anti-aging, and that's intermittent fasting, or what I prefer to call time-restricted eating. Now, before you tell me you could never skip meals, or that you've always been told breakfast is the most important meal of the day, hear me out, because the science behind this is absolutely fascinating, and the benefits go far beyond just weight loss. Time-restricted eating means you consume all your food within a specific window of time each day, typically 8 to 10 hours, and then you fast for the remaining 14 to 16 hours. And what happens during that fasting period is nothing short of miraculous for your cells. When you're not constantly digesting food, your body shifts into a state called autophagy, which is basically your cell's cleaning and recycling system. During autophagy, your cells break down and remove damaged proteins and dysfunctional components. They recycle the useful parts to build new healthy structures. And this process is absolutely critical for preventing aging and disease. Research indicates that autophagy declines as we age, which is one reason why cellular damage accumulates and diseases like Alzheimer's and cancer become more common. But intermittent fasting is one of the most powerful ways to trigger autophagy and essentially force your cells to clean house and regenerate themselves. But that's not all that happens during the fasting period. Your insulin levels drop significantly, which allows your body to access stored fat for energy. Your human growth hormone levels can increase by up to 5 times, which helps preserve muscle mass and bone density. Your cellular repair processes kick into high gear. Inflammation throughout your body decreases, and your brain produces more of a protein called BDNF, which supports the growth of new brain cells and protects existing ones from damage. I've had patients in their 70s tell me that after just a few weeks of time-restricted eating, they feel sharper mentally, they have more energy throughout the day, they're sleeping better at night, and they've lost stubborn belly fat that wouldn't budge with traditional dieting. Now, let me give you a simple protocol for how to implement time-restricted eating in a way that's safe and effective for seniors. Start with a 12-hour eating window and a 12-hour fasting window. For example, eating all your meals between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m., and then fasting from 8 p.m. until 8 a.m. the next morning. Most of that fasting time, you'll be sleeping anyway, so it's not as difficult as it sounds. Once you're comfortable with that for a week or two, you can gradually narrow your eating window to 10 hours, and then eventually to 8 hours if you want maximum benefits. So you might eat between 10 a.m. and 6 p.m., or between noon and 8 p.m., depending on what works best for your schedule and lifestyle. During your eating window, focus on nutrient-dense whole foods that are available at any grocery store across America. Wild-caught salmon or other fatty fish, which are rich in omega-3 fatty acids that reduce inflammation and support brain health. Leafy greens like spinach and kale that are packed with antioxidants and vitamins. Colorful vegetables like carrots and bell peppers and tomatoes. Healthy fats from avocados and nuts and olive oil. High-quality proteins from chicken or turkey or eggs, and complex carbohydrates from sweet potatoes and oatmeal and whole wheat bread. The key is to eat satisfying, nutritious meals during your eating window so you're not hungry during your fasting period, and make sure you're staying well hydrated by drinking plenty of water throughout the day. One important note for seniors. If you're on any medications, especially for diabetes or blood pressure, you need to talk to your doctor before starting intermittent fasting because your medication doses may need to be adjusted as your body composition and metabolic health improve. And if you have a history of eating disorders or if fasting makes you feel weak or dizzy, then this particular habit might not be right for you. And that's okay, because the other 4 habits will still provide tremendous benefits. The goal is always to work with your body and listen to what it's telling you, not to force something that doesn't feel right. Now let's talk about the second habit that reverses aging after 60. And this one is absolutely non-negotiable if you want to maintain your independence and quality of life as you age. And that's resistance training or strength training at least 2 to 3 times per week. I know what you might be thinking. I'm too old to lift weights. I might hurt myself. That's for young bodybuilders, not for people my age. But I'm here to tell you that resistance training is even more important after 60 than it was when you were younger. And it's one of the most powerful anti-aging interventions available to us. Here's what happens to your muscles as you age if you don't use them. You lose muscle mass and strength in a process called sarcopenia, and this muscle loss accelerates dramatically after age 60 unless you actively work to prevent it. Doctors explain that without resistance training, you can lose 3 to 5% of your muscle mass per decade after 30, and this loss speeds up to as much as 1 to 2% per year after 60. This muscle loss is not just cosmetic, it directly affects your ability to do everyday activities like getting up from a chair, carrying groceries, climbing stairs, playing with your grandchildren, and most importantly, maintaining your balance to prevent falls, which are the leading cause of injury and death in seniors. But here's the amazing part. It's never too late to build muscle. Science has already shown that even people in their 80s and 90s can gain significant muscle mass and strength through proper resistance training. And the benefits go far beyond just stronger muscles. When you do resistance training, you're also strengthening your bones, which helps prevent osteoporosis and fractures. You're improving your balance and coordination, which dramatically reduces your fall risk. You're boosting your metabolism, which helps you maintain a healthy weight and better blood sugar control. You're supporting your cardiovascular health. You're improving your cognitive function and reducing your risk of dementia, and you're increasing your overall functional capacity, which means you can continue doing the activities you love for years to come. Let me share a story about one of my patients, a 72-year-old woman named Barbara from a retirement community in Florida. When I first met Barbara, she was frail and unsteady on her feet. She needed help carrying her groceries from the car, and she'd stopped gardening, which was something she absolutely loved, because she didn't have the strength or stamina for it anymore. I convinced her to start a simple resistance training program twice a week with a trainer who specialized in senior fitness, and the transformation was remarkable. Within 3 months, Barbara had gained noticeable muscle mass in her legs and arms. She was walking with confidence and no longer afraid of falling. She was back to gardening every day, and she told me with tears in her eyes that she felt like she'd gotten her life back. Now let me give you a simple protocol for starting resistance training safely after 60. You don't need a fancy gym membership or expensive equipment, although those things are certainly available if you want them. You can start with body weight exercises at home, using resistance bands which you can buy at any Walmart or CVS for less than $20, or using light dumbbells starting with just 3 to 5 pounds. The key exercises you want to focus on are ones that work your major muscle groups. Squats or modified squats holding onto a chair for balance to strengthen your legs and glutes. Push-ups or wall push-ups to work your chest and arms. Rows using resistance bands to strengthen your back. Overhead presses for your shoulders, and planks or modified planks to work your core muscles. Start with just one set of 8 to 12 repetitions of each exercise, focusing on proper form rather than heavy weights or high repetitions. As you get stronger over the course of a few weeks, you can gradually increase the resistance or add another set. The goal is to challenge your muscles enough that the last few repetitions feel difficult, but not so much that you're straining or risking injury. If you're not sure how to do these exercises correctly, consider working with a physical therapist or a certified personal trainer who has experience with seniors. And many Medicare Advantage plans actually cover fitness programs specifically designed for older adults, so check with your insurance to see what's available to you. If this video has been helpful so far and you're learning things you didn't know about reversing aging, hit that like button. And let me know in the comments which of these habits you're most excited to try. Your engagement helps other seniors find this crucial information. The third habit that reverses aging after 60 is something that most Americans are not getting enough of, and that's high-quality sleep for 7 to 8 hours every single night. Now, I know sleep can be challenging as you get older, because your sleep patterns change. You might have to get up to use the bathroom more frequently, pain or medications might interfere with your sleep, or you might just have trouble falling asleep or staying asleep the way you used to. But I cannot overstate how critical good sleep is for reversing aging and maintaining your health, because it's during sleep that your body does the majority of its repair and regeneration work. From a medical perspective, sleep is when your brain clears out toxic waste products that accumulate during the day, including beta amyloid, which is the protein that builds up in the brains of people with Alzheimer's disease. Your immune system uses sleep time to produce cytokines and other substances that fight infection and inflammation. Your muscles repair themselves and grow stronger from the stress you put on them during the day. Your cardiovascular system gets a break as your blood pressure and heart rate drop. Your hormones are regulated, including growth hormone, which supports tissue repair, and cortisol, which when chronically elevated due to poor sleep can accelerate aging and disease. Research from major universities has shown that people who consistently get less than 7 hours of sleep per night have higher rates of obesity, diabetes, heart disease, stroke, dementia, and even cancer compared to those who get adequate sleep. Poor sleep also accelerates cellular aging by shortening your telomeres faster and increasing oxidative stress and inflammation throughout your body. On the flip side, people who prioritize good sleep have better cognitive function, stronger immune systems, healthier body composition, better emotional regulation, and slower biological aging. I've had patients who improved their sleep habits and told me it was like a fog lifting from their brain. They had energy they hadn't felt in years, and chronic pain that had bothered them for months started to improve. Let me give you a simple protocol for improving your sleep quality starting tonight. First, create a consistent sleep schedule by going to bed and waking up at the same time every day, even on weekends, because your body's circadian rhythm thrives on consistency, and this helps regulate your natural sleep-wake cycle. Second, make your bedroom a sleep sanctuary by keeping it cool between 60 and 67 degrees Fahrenheit, which is the optimal temperature range for sleep, making it as dark as possible using blackout curtains or an eye mask, and minimizing noise with earplugs or a white noise machine if needed. Third, establish a relaxing bedtime routine starting about an hour before you want to fall asleep. Turn off all screens, including your TV, computer, tablet, and smartphone, because the blue light from these devices suppresses your body's production of melatonin, which is the hormone that makes you sleepy. Do some gentle stretching or light yoga to release physical tension. Take a warm bath or shower, which can help trigger your body's natural sleep response as your temperature drops afterward. Read a book or listen to calming music or practice some deep breathing or meditation to quiet your mind. Fourth, watch what you consume in the hours before bed. Avoid caffeine after 2 p.m. because it can stay in your system for 6 to 8 hours and interfere with your ability to fall asleep. Limit alcohol in the evening because even though it might make you feel sleepy initially, it disrupts your sleep cycles later in the night and prevents you from getting deep restorative sleep. Don't eat large, heavy meals within 3 hours of bedtime, although a light snack is fine if you're hungry. And consider having a small amount of foods that promote sleep, like a banana, which contains magnesium and potassium, or a handful of almonds, or some chamomile tea. Fifth, get exposure to natural sunlight during the day, especially in the morning, because this helps regulate your circadian rhythm and makes it easier to fall asleep at night. And if you live in the northern parts of America, where winters are dark and harsh, you might consider using a light therapy box in the morning to help maintain your sleep-wake cycle. And if you're still having trouble sleeping despite trying all of these strategies, talk to your doctor, because there might be underlying issues like sleep apnea or restless leg syndrome or side effects from medications that need to be addressed, and sometimes simple changes to your medications or the addition of a low-dose melatonin supplement can make a huge difference. Now let's move on to the fourth habit that reverses aging after 60. And this one might be the most underestimated anti-aging strategy of all. And that's maintaining strong social connections and staying mentally engaged with activities that challenge your brain and give you a sense of purpose. Research indicates that loneliness and social isolation are as dangerous to your health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day, and they significantly accelerate aging by increasing inflammation, raising stress hormone levels, weakening your immune system, and increasing your risk of heart disease, stroke, dementia, and early death. On the other hand, people who have strong social networks and who stay mentally active tend to live longer, have better cognitive function well into their 80s and 90s, have lower rates of depression and anxiety, recover faster from illness and surgery, and report higher levels of life satisfaction and happiness. The connection between social engagement and longevity is so strong that some scientists believe it's one of the most important factors in determining not just how long you live, but how well you live during those years. I've seen patients who were declining both physically and mentally completely turn around when they got involved in their church community, joined a volunteer organization, took up a new hobby that connected them with other people, or simply made an effort to have regular phone calls with family and friends. The key is to understand that humans are social creatures by nature. We evolved to live in communities and to have meaningful connections with other people. And when those connections are missing, our bodies literally suffer at the cellular level. Your brain needs stimulation and challenge to stay healthy and to continue forming new neural connections throughout your life, a process called neuroplasticity, and mental engagement through learning new things, solving problems, having meaningful conversations, and pursuing activities that interest you is like exercise for your brain that keeps it young and prevents cognitive decline. Let me give you a simple protocol for building and maintaining social connections and mental engagement after 60. First, make a commitment to have regular in-person contact with other people at least a few times per week. And this could be through joining a walking group in your neighborhood, attending services at your local church or synagogue or mosque, signing up for a class at your community center or local college, whether that's painting or cooking or history or computer skills. Volunteering for an organization that matters to you, like a food bank or hospital or library or animal shelter, or simply scheduling regular coffee dates or lunch dates with friends or family members. Second, stay connected with loved ones who live far away through phone calls or video chats, and make these conversations meaningful by really listening and sharing what's going on in your life rather than just surface-level small talk. Third, challenge your brain regularly by learning new skills or hobbies, whether that's a musical instrument or a new language or woodworking or genealogy research. Doing puzzles like crosswords or Sudoku or jigsaw puzzles, reading books on topics you find interesting, or even playing strategy games. Fourth, find a sense of purpose by identifying what matters to you and how you can contribute, whether that's being involved in your grandchildren's lives, supporting causes you believe in, sharing your knowledge and experience with younger people, or pursuing creative expression through writing or art or music. Write in the comments. Which of these 4 habits have you already started working on, and which one do you find most challenging? I'd love to hear about your experiences because your story might inspire someone else who's struggling with the same issues. And now for the 5th and final habit that reverses aging after 60, and this might be the most powerful one of all when it comes to reducing inflammation and preventing chronic disease, and that's eating an anti-inflammatory diet rich in whole plant foods, healthy fats, and quality proteins, while avoiding processed foods, excess sugar, and unhealthy fats. What you put into your body every single day has a profound impact on how quickly you age at the cellular level, and the standard American diet, which is heavy in processed foods, refined carbohydrates, and unhealthy oils, is literally accelerating aging and disease for millions of people. Science has already shown that chronic inflammation is at the root of nearly every age-related disease, including heart disease, diabetes, cancer, Alzheimer's, arthritis, and autoimmune conditions. This low-grade inflammation that builds up over time is often called inflammaging, and it's driven largely by the foods we eat, along with other factors like stress and lack of exercise. When you eat a diet high in sugar, refined grains, and processed foods, your blood sugar spikes repeatedly throughout the day, which triggers inflammation. Your gut bacteria become imbalanced, which allows inflammatory compounds to leak into your bloodstream, and your cells accumulate oxidative damage from free radicals that overwhelm your body's antioxidant defenses.